So this morning we're working on a customer's driveway. We are at a abandoned railroad bed right now that a friend of ours bought off of the railroad company when the railroad was tore out. The property or right of way was offered back to the owner of the adjacent property. So our friend bought this back, and basically the railroad came through. They pulled the railroad ties and all their rails up and salvaged everything they could, scrapped the rails, whatnot. And so we've been, over the last couple of years, buying the railroad stone, or railroad ballast as some people calls it, off of our friend, and we use it for driveway base. So I got the 200. We're just crawling up on the old railroad bed right now. I'm gonna get my way worked down here to where I left off the last time, and then we're gonna start hauling this railroad ballast out for the driveway project that we're working on. First thing I gotta do is get this bush honeysuckle out of the way. Let's kind of smash it off each side. And as I go loading the railroad stone, I basically pile the brush off to the side, and then we come back later and we clean it up and burn it. So I'm just going to smash this stuff back so that it's not hitting the truck when we back the trucks down, or trucks, not just truck. Got quite a bit to haul, so I'm going to be here a little while. So I got to go down there about 200 feet, and that's where the face of where we quit loading from the last time is. I'll just smash this stuff up. But railroad stone, or railroad ballast, is a combination of limestone, slag from the steel mills, cinders from the coal from being burnt in the locomotives. And there's also just some fire bricks and stuff in there. It's just a combination of a lot of non-organic materials that they dumped through this area to make the railroad bed, because this is a low, wet area, and they just kept piling and piling and piling to make it tall enough and to handle the weight of the trains that pass through here. So it works excellent for driveway base, and it's very reasonably priced. So you get quite a bit of material and not break the bank, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, let's pop that out. You can hear the stone on the bottom of my bucket. It just looks like grass on top, but there's definitely rock under there. So I'm going to get all this moved each way, and then I'll get a video when we get down there and start stripping. So right now, I got down to the face of where we've been loading out of this railroad. I'm pushing all the brush back, getting me a nice place to set up high with the excavator so I can load the trucks easier. So I'm just kind of bringing this up and blending it all together, because there's a layer of mill slag, there's a layer of coal ash, and then there's a layer of limestone. And then under all that is a layer of like dirt road gravel. So what I do is I take all those layers and I blend them all together. And then when I blend them all together and load them out, they blend even more, and then they make an awesome driveway base. So this is a very good material to make a driveway base out of. It packs really hard. At one time here in the Stark County area, I believe there was like 6 different railroad names that came through here. And as progress happened, the railroads kind of disappeared, and they left all these railroads behind, or railroad beds behind, and they just they took all their rails, they took their railroad ties, and they just left. Well, I'm kind of glad they did, because they left some really good material behind them to make driveways out of. Works out real nice. But all these railroads came together right here in North Judson, Indiana, where we're close to right now. And right where they pretty much came together is the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum, which is an awesome museum. If you ever get a chance to check out the Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum, go check it out. They got some pretty cool railroad history right there. But they do have a website. I believe it's Hoosier Valley Railroad Museum.org, I believe is their website. But they have a Facebook page too. You can look them up on Facebook. Really, really cool place. Situated right there in North Judson, Indiana. They have train rides. They have a fall train ride. It's called the Pumpkin Express. I believe they do a Christmas-oriented one also. Pretty cool. I've been on them a couple times. But check them out, make a donation towards their cause. Just, we need to preserve a lot of our history so that the younger generation can enjoy it. I know I say that, and I can't say it enough. That's why I do the projects that I do. You know, the John Deere 2-cylinder, the Project Dirty Peter. Now with the John Deere 690B coming in the Great All, it's preserving history for the younger generation that won't get to see it if we just keep scrapping all this stuff. So, anyways, I'm gonna get my little pedestal here built. I got a railroad tie down here, old railroad tie, but it's amazing what you find along here. You find railroad plates, you find spikes, you find railroad track, all kinds of cool stuff. But anyways, I'm gonna keep getting this built up here so I can load trucks easier, and then we'll continue our video in a little bit. So we're over where we're putting the driveway in. We got the 270 here, we got the John Deere 9300 and the dirt wagon. What we're doing is we're cutting this out 6 inches deep, the full length, about 12 foot wide. And we're going to fill that with the railroad stone. And then when we're all finished, it's going to get capped with limestone about 4 inches deep. The idea to dig it out is so the driveway is not super high and mounded up. So that way, by the time we put the limestone on there and it's packed down, it'll be almost back to the level of the grass. But it'll be a little bit higher than the grass. So we're stretching a string right now since it's such a long distance to try to get it straight. But as you can see, this is the railroad stone so far, and it's really nice and solid. So we're gonna go put some T-posts in to put the string on to get it good and straight. So I better go do that. Oh, this is nice. Dad's strength's got it all leveled out. Took the Bobcat, leveled it out. They've got all the topsoil stripped out. They're up in the woods now, up on the curve. So I'm just gonna string this load out, and then Dad's strength can do the same thing that he done with the last one, and we'll work our way to the woods. It's gonna be a nice driveway when it's done. We got it nice and straight, so it's gonna be beautiful. Can't wait to see it with the limestone on top of it. It's gonna be one nice white landing strip all the way to the woods. So as you can see, Dad's heading up through the woods now, up to where the home site and the building site's going to be for the pole barn and stuff. So I want to point out something very interesting on this project. You would think we're out here on the edge of a hayfield or on the edge of a woods and there would be no utilities. Well, what I'd like to point out is it's very important to always call before you dig, because actually there is an electric cable and a telephone cable that run from over there, from the edge of a property where a house sits. It runs along this woods up through here and up to another house. So if we didn't call before we dug, we'd have never knew about that electric line. And really, you would think that that electric line would come from the road up their driveway to their house. Well, that's not how it works. It comes from there up around to here. So that's why it's always very important to call 811 before you dig. It's a good thing we did. But we always call on every project just to be sure. Well, we are definitely loving the new Camso tracks on the Bobcat. I believe that's the BBE pattern, the straight bars that are like serrated. Things are working out great. Plenty of traction. You can bring the Bobcat to its knees with those tracks, with all the traction they can get. Driveway's looking good. Dad's strength's gonna finish leveling this load out, and then we're gonna call it a day. So probably a good place to end this episode anyways. Probably getting a little bit long. So anyways, if you like this episode of Dirt Green Steel, give me a like and a subscribe, and I greatly appreciate it. And I'll see you guys on the next one. And girls. Guys and girls. Sorry. I should have said guys and girls. But we'll see you on the next video.